Alright, so one day, me and some people on Discord had a debate. It was a good debate because every point someone brought up, I brought a counterpoint to debunk it, right? It was just normal shit in my Discord. We argue about stupid shit, right? This guy trying to be funny, he's like, if there's no point, then it's a dull sword. And, you know, first thing I say is like, a dull sword comes from the edge being dull, not the point. And then he's like, a rapier has a point. And I'm like, a rapier also has a fucking edge. And this is where the shit fest starts. Like, trust me, it's literally all about a rapier. If you don't want to hear an autistic argument about a fucking sword, click off now. But like, this is one hell of a ride. So going back on track on what I was saying, I said rapiers also had an edge. He quickly denies it and says, no, it's for jabbing, not for slashing. I'm like, are you serious? At this point, my server was going fucking nuts, right? He talks about chainmail and how it's designed to push through it, right? I ignored the statement because it was fucking retarded. I replied, a rapier isn't some long cone with a spike at the end of it. He's like, no, that's a lance. He shows me an image of a rapier and a drawing of a lance. And then he says, fencers use rapiers. And I'm like, fencing's a fucking art. Why would they make a tool for sparring if it includes an edge that takes some safety away from it? Then he finally says this, a rapier can be made with an edge. Most don't. And I'm like, the hell are you on about? Most rapiers have an edge. I Google image rapier and I just show them the results. The first few images were edged rapiers and they were the most popular search result. Now if these fucking things were commonly made without an edge, I would assume you'll see some as a result from the first page. He ignores all the photos and he points out the fourth picture doesn't even have a point. It's a fucking practical rapier. Then he shows me a picture of Erica, the blue dumb bitch from Fire Emblem 8 with her rounded rapier. I don't know because I was mad at this point, but she looked like she was holding an edged rapier to me. It fucking had a spine and everything. Shit artist, shit example. Should have used Cypher. Anyway, he used the game to prove a fucking point. And then he goes and continues saying, Erica jabs, Lynn slashes. Then he also talks about how they're made to be thin. How the f does having an edge affect its thickness? If anything, it makes it more thin. I said, sure it's made for thrusting, but it still has a fucking edge. And then he talks about chainmail again. At this point, I start talking shit about America. I'm really sorry, but like, you know, you don't see fucking flat earthers anywhere else but in America most of the time. He says rapiers are quick and provide fast hits. I said just because it has an edge doesn't mean it won't be used to jab, right? It doesn't stop it from jabbing more or less. My Discord starts talking about shields, trying to change the subject and how they're not weapons. I go and say if you punch a fucker with a shield, it's considered a weapon. It doesn't have to stay in one category. My Discord screams spoon. You can gorge out an eye with a spoon. Even a pillow is a weapon. Mayonnaise, they cry. I say some people are fucking allergic to eggs or some shit. That's still dangerous. Anyway, the rapier conversation comes to an end here. But I was not satisfied because I knew he still thought that way, right? So I try to piss him off. I start searching Googles of nails, barbecue skewers, and like, hey look, it's a rapier. And then I fucking found a skewer with an edge and I'm like, no way. At this point, he starts admitting that rapiers have an edge, right? Now he calls the non-edge rapiers the proper rapiers, the true rapiers. What makes him get to fucking decide which one's the true rapier or the fake ones? He sends a wall of fucking text, and it goes something like this. The word rapier generally refers to a relatively long-bladed sword. Stop right there. Long-bladed. It says fucking bladed on the first fucking sentence. Right, I tell him, it has bladed in the fucking first sentence. And he's like, yeah, rapiers have blades. I'm like, blades mean it has an edge. Blade equals edge. I even Googled blade to make sure I wasn't fucking autistic, right? To make sure my school education was not retarded. And the definition literally says edge, right? He brings up another definition of blade from another site to prove that he's right somewhere. The definition literally says cut or slashing, right? How can you cut or slash without an edge? Why would you hit with a sword with no blade? To fucking what? To snap the fucking thing? And I kid you not, he brings in lightsabers to the fucking conversation. And he's like, here's the word blade with something described with non-sharp objects. And it links the fucking lightsabers. Lightsabers cut, meaning it has a blade. You don't say blade to something that doesn't cut. Lightsabers, oh my god. I swear to God, he has his own religion. I swear. Jesus Christ. And he wants to push it onto me or some shit. I tell my server what's going on, right? I said this guy only pings me when he finds something supports what he says. He sees what I wrote and he's like, I haven't pinged you more than 3 times. And I'm like, bitch, that means you want to argue about it 3 times. Then he fucking sends a photo of a fan. I said, a fan has a blade. It's not sharpened, but it still has a fucking edge. It's just not a sharp one. He replies, if it's bladed, it doesn't have to be sharp and it doesn't have to imply an edge. I said, it's a fucking sword. Why wouldn't it be sharp? Why would you have a dull edge? What benefit does that bring you? If anything, edges fucking bring more capabilities to your attacks, right? If you can stab someone, if you can slash someone, you can do 2 different things instead of just doing one of the same move, and that gets predictable, right? As though you can punch someone or slap someone, but you only choose to slap someone because punching is gay. I keep egging on. Why can't you pierce with an edged rapier? It doesn't limit the fucking sword. He says there's no point to a dull blade, just means you have not kept your weapons in a good condition. I'm like, what do you mean by that? I swear this guy was fucking homeschooled. And like, the conversation just ends there.